Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Raw review and opinions video. This is one of the most important Raw reviews ever. I can see people in the future wanting to come back and revisit this because this is a really important Raw. It's the first Raw on Netflix. Certainly right now it's being hyped. It's being kind of built up as like one of the most important Raws ever. And honestly, I think because of that, it did not reach my expectations. And that's a bit harsh because Triple H afterwards was like, I really enjoyed the show. It was brilliant seeing John Cena and The Undertaker. And obviously we had Roman Reigns against Solo. That's like a WrestleMania match. We had the main event, Seth versus CM Punk. That's like a main event match as well. And so he was going down this list of The Rock and all this stuff. And it all sounds great. But in execution, there's a lot of misses and missed opportunities here. For example, you had The Undertaker, but what did he do? Like, he came out, he drove around the ring, put his arm in the air next to Rhea, and that was it. Like, you're telling me there was nothing more creative that he could have done other than that, right? You're telling me that he couldn't have been confronted by Karrion Kross in the ring. Lights go out, the Wyatt Six make the save. Like, we couldn't have done something like that, which would have been better. Instead, he just comes out, poses next to Rhea, and that's it, like a couple of minutes. That's, you know, and really, you know, not only that, but we had The Rock come out and we were all expecting something massive. But what did we get? A very, very confusing segment. A segment which I still don't fully understand. I mean, he's the final boss. He's someone that last time we saw him, he did this. Everyone was like, what does this mean? Trying to figure out what it meant. I mean, that was pretty clear. Yeah, the cutthroats, right? It's like, oh, is that a message to Cody? Is that a message to Roman? Well, I don't know what it was because now he's in a ring giving praise to Roman, putting the Ulafala around his neck, giving praise to Cody, having a drink with him backstage. Like, what's happened? I feel like I've missed a chapter. I feel like I've watched everything, but I feel like, did I miss a show? Did I miss a show? Like, it doesn't add up. And I think the honest truth is this was a standalone show and they wanted it to appeal to new fans. And obviously there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I really like The Rock. You know, I'm going to tune in. I've heard The Rock's going to be on this show. And maybe the thought was, well, it's just not going to be great if the whole crowd are booing him and he's acting like a heel. Like, actually, that could turn some people against The Rock. So for this show in particular, it makes sense for him to babyface it and to actually come across as, you know, The Rock, the good guy. Thank you for everything. Really appreciate everything you do. Hey, tell Mama Rhodes I say hello, right? All this kind of stuff. And was that because he was so worried about his image? Was that because he was so worried about what people, new eyes, new viewers, would think if he came out and he was being booed out the building? I said I think Unseen, you know, he's got Moana 2 in the cinema right now. We've got the live action Moana on the way. He's got Papatui in shops. He's got his tequila drink or whatever it is that he's trying to promote. I'm sure he's got other projects in the works as well. So I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? It's very hard for him to come out and play this character because new eyes may get a bit confused and his reputation might take a little bit of a knock or something. So I don't know. It was so weird. It was so random. Match score-wise, I can tell you, Roman Solo, you said, was great, 85%. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, he comes out after The Rock, puts the Ulafala around Roman's neck. It was a really captivating moment, but nothing happened other than that, right? Then we had Liv versus Rhea. Great, 65%. New champion, which was noteworthy. Pretty fun match, honestly. I don't really have any complaints there. Jey versus Drew, I thought was pretty underwhelming. You did as well. You scored it good, 89%. Seth versus CM Punk, you said was good, 91%. So even that didn't really do any great shakes. I think that the crowds were quite burnt out. It seemed like they went really quiet towards that main event. They did start breaking out into a "this is awesome" chant towards the end of it. But, yeah, that was, I don't know, it was a little bit of a walk to get there, shall we say. And, of course, the Hogan segment, oh, my God. To see a legend get booed like that, I did not take any pleasure from that. I did not take any enjoyment out of that. I know the comments he made, but I don't like it. I didn't like it. I'm sure there was some MAGA stuff at play as well. You know, he is a Republican and a Trump supporter in LA, right, which is famously Democrat. So I'm sure that played a part. But as we said, Undertaker actually had Donald Trump on his podcast. Undertaker was someone that has spoken out and been very pro-Republican as well. There was no reaction like that for The Undertaker. Undertaker wasn't at the Republican conference, though, right? I will agree that Hogan was a lot more visible. And I don't know. Yeah, I think the MAGA stuff played a part, but I really do think it's that racism stuff primarily, because he's never been able to shake that. He's never been able to shake that, right? I think if it gets blamed on the MAGA stuff, I don't think people are looking at the full picture. Equally, if people say it's only the racism stuff, I don't think people are looking at the full picture. I think there was a few things at play in there, to be honest, right? But oof, it was bad. It was really bad. I like the John Cena segment. I thought the building was amazing. Actually, the building was so different with that massive screen and all the lights on the chairs, and the setup was slightly different. I think that actually added to the fact that it made the show feel weird. I think the show felt extra weird because for the first time in forever, I actually felt like we were in a very different space. Normally, every Raw just feels exactly the same setup, exactly the same old set, in the same old looking arenas. All of this felt different. Matches were WrestleMania scale. John Cena, The Rock, I mean, they brought out the big guns. You've got to give them that. Loads of talking points, so you've got to give them that. But honestly, as when it all shakes out, how good was the show? I mean, actually, how good was it? I'm going to say I wasn't bored. I'm going to say I was entertained. I'm going to say there's plenty to moan about and complain about and be frustrated about. I didn't like what felt like never-ending sponsorships and advertisements that were being blasted at me. I didn't like the Rock start. Couple of matches I felt underwhelmed. The Hogan thing was difficult and uncomfortable. I didn't enjoy seeing him being treated that way. But I understand it. But there was some really good moments here as well, and loads of talking points, which I look for. So, yeah, I really want to get to your comments, but I'm going to give this, I think, a 7.5. 7.5 to 7.75. And honestly, maybe I could get to an 8, but I'm not sure. This was big, but you could argue bloated. Like, it was a spectacular, but it was a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like, actually, when you dig into the substance, there are things here that just felt off. And as a result of that, that's why I can't get too crazy. But I've said it so many times. I am genuinely so excited to get your thoughts. I am genuinely so excited to see what you have got to say about this. So with that being said, let's whoosh it over. Titan gives it a 7. So I was really hyped for the show, but it felt disappointed with the Rock stuff. It didn't do much. I wish we had something more like Penta or Becky, Charlotte or Alexa. Just an overall underwhelming show considering all the hype. Fair play. Carl said it was awesome. I don't like the results, and especially the way that Drew lost. I hate the billboard mat. Hogan was just an awful waste of time and an ad. That's true. He came out to promote his beer, Then he ripped his shirt off to promote Netflix, which had been promoted throughout the whole show anyway. And we couldn't watch it without being on Netflix. Love the match continuing or interviews instead of adverts. Matches themselves and everything else was fire. So it was a solid PLE-worthy show, says Carl. Al Patata said Roman versus Solo. Same old WrestleMania 39-40 overbook match. Good near falls. Roman, with a little help from his friends, beat Solo. 50% tribal chief. Rhea versus Liv. We didn't need to wait months and for EO getting beat for that simple ending, but good match. Hogan, best segment of the show. I love it when he said. Punk versus Rollins, 10 out of 10. Rating 7.5. I'll enjoy seeing more new gen wrestlers next week. This week was for boomers. Big Blessing said, best freaking Raw I ever seen. Congratulations, Rhea Ripley. Whoa. Joey Fats with an image of Penta. Kevin said, I am disappointed. The Rock stuff didn't make sense. No Wyatts, no world champion, no big returns. Raw was overhyped and mid at best. Sean said, Roman is 2K25 cover star. Courtstone said, Raw was below average. Netflix ruined it. Mayor Pete said 7 out of 10. People complaining about the mat make me laugh. It's pretty easy to focus on the wrestling in the ring. I think the Legends' appearances brought the show down from a 7.5 to a 7. They didn't add anything to the program. Well, I did like seeing Cena. Cena coming out and basically talking about this is it. This is the year. I know you want me to go for 17, but honestly, I'm on a streak, and it's not a great streak. It's been 2,000 odd days since I won a match. So how am I going to get to any kind of title match if I can't win any match? You know, maybe I could win and, you know, we were following his trail of thought. And then, of course, he declares that he's going to go into the Royal Rumble, try and get to it that way. I feel like that promo, if you've not been watching, if you're not aware, I feel like that promo kind of tells you, this is where John Cena is right now. This is his final year. This is what he would like to achieve. This is what people are talking about. This is his plan to achieve it. I feel like there was quite a bit in that for John. So I really don't mind the John thing. The Rock thing, I agree. Weird. Didn't really make a great deal of sense. The Hogan thing, oof, I can't even say it. I can't even say like the Hogan segment without my eyes automatically doing the Hogan segment. Oh my God. So yeah, I agree. Definitely you could have took a couple of the legends away. Undertaker, Rock, you could have took them away, but they clearly brought eyes to the product. But yeah, what did they add ultimately? Apart from eyes. But then at the end of the day, is that not the most important thing and the only thing that WWE and Netflix really actually care about? That and money. Sam said Hulk Hogan being booed out the building was the best part. Wrestling fans since day one said, Daze, so The Rock is a face now? I don't know. And what happened to the final boss gimmick? I don't know. And last I thought, storyline, purpose, The Rock hated Cody. Do you remember? He was beating Cody with a... I do remember that, yes. And I also remember him giving Cody like a watch back or so. Does he ask for that back now? Does he go, oh, do you remember that thing I gave you? It was a watch, wasn't it? Can I, now that we're friends, can I have that back? I can't answer that because even I'm like, what the flip's going on here? I can only say what I've said before, and that is I think The Rock just wanted people to see him as a face. I think there was a lot of new eyes on this show, and I think he was worried about if people see me being booed, they might start booing me as well, and I don't want to be losing fans, you know. Roman versus Solo was great, but question, was Cody and Rock in the audience? How did they get backstage? No, Rock went backstage. Cody was in the front row for the Rock segment, but then I think he left when the Rock left, and I think he went backstage. So I think they were both backstage. John Cena promo was way better than the Rock's promo. I agree. Rhea versus Liv was good. Glad that it's finally over. OMG Undertaker. Jey Uso versus Drew. Didn't like the ending, but it was still good. CM Punk Seth, not a good match, really poor. Overall, Raw 775. Feel like we hyped it up too much, and a whole bunch of big names like John Cena, Hulk Hogan, all of them should have been kept a secret. Not the best show, but it wasn't bad. Good night, Daze. Happy New Year. Wrestling fan, since day one, shout out to you, my friends. Luke said, why are people hating so much? The Rock made an appearance. Cena entered into the Rumble. Roman Solo was a banger. Roman also won. New women's champion. I'm not pleased about it. I think Rhea's boring. Michael Cole was yeeting on the table. Punk Seth banged as well. So Luke gives it an 8.5. Caden said, honestly, I thought it was a little underwhelming. Brady gives it an 8. It was a great show. Sad there was no Wyatt 6. I guess they're saving all the returns for the Rumble. I think maybe next week as well. I mean, we'll go into Raw being like, do you reckon they'll do something this week? And we'll go into Saturday night's main event saying the same. And of course, we'll go into the Rumble saying the same. So I definitely think there's some being saved, but I wouldn't be shocked if we get someone next week or well, I suppose we are. We're getting Penta, aren't we? Maybe we get Penta next week. What about the week after? What about week 3 of Raw? Do we get Charlotte on that one? What about Saturday night's main event? And then, of course, you're correct. We're pretty much at the Rumble then. Benjamin said it felt like WWE was more concerned with how many ads they can fit in instead of building great stories, especially when it came to the Rock and Cody stuff. Feels like they just killed all the momentum of that feud before it even happened. It just felt flat considering the hype. I don't think that's what Triple H would have booked. I think he's been overruled there. I honestly don't think he would have gone up to The Rock and said, let's do this, because there's no consistency, there's no continuity, and it's just not what we see from Triple H. I really, really think that was The Rock, and I can't prove it, but I really think that was The Rock saying, I don't want to run the risk of being booed and being hated and having all of these new eyes seeing me getting those reactions, because that's going to have people asking questions. And, people that are maybe new to this aren't going to understand I'm playing a character. So I really feel like something like that must have been at play. That Rock segment at the start, it never felt like it had Triple H's DNA on it. It didn't feel like it had his creative expression on it. It's just not what we've been seeing. It was so random. It was really random, which is why that's the conclusion I've sort of come to. Nando said, interesting open. I'm glad that Solo lost. Hopefully he finds himself a new gimmick instead of just being a bootleg Roman with 10 times less star power. Fun matches, but overall a little underwhelming. Fine for a weekly show, but for a premiere that they have been building all last year, not impressed. Master Taker said the show was great. I give it an 8. I didn't like Babyface Rock. I didn't feel the long run advertisement, but the matches were great. Cowboys said fantastic, 10 out of 10. Rock return was cool. Hogan got booed out the arena, which I can understand why. Jey versus Drew was tribal combat was good. Punk Rollins was one of the best Raw matches I've ever seen. Really? I find that very interesting because that's not been reflected in our scores. And honestly, it is a match that I feel like it should have cooked. I really feel like that everything about that match. Punk just had a banger with Drew. We know what Seth is capable of. It's the main event of the Raw on Netflix premiere, you know? It just was never grabbing me. If it grabbed you early and you found a way in, maybe you got more out of it. But I was watching it and it was never grabbing me. It was just never bringing me in for whatever it did towards the end. But I couldn't find a way in at the start. I don't know, really, really weird. The breakdown of that is 9% of people said it was a bad match. 39% said it was good. 37% said it was great. 14% said it was all-time. So a little bit of a mixed bag, but definitely good, great. That's where the majority sat on that one. Overall score was good, 91%. So yeah, that's a very interesting comment. Alex said, awesome Raw. Rhea winning was a bad decision because Liv is the only credible heel in the Raw women's division. The main event was fire. Hulk Hogan showing up was Jey Uso winning was fire. Roman Reigns winning was fire. 8.5. Walter J said, it was a great showcase for the sport we love. Roman versus Solo was top draw. A big plus for booing Hogan. It made me so proud of the WWE universe. My kind of people. Hogan is not. CI21S said, how long will the Wyatt 6 burying continue? I don't think they were buried. I just don't think there was room, to be honest. I think they had their 4 matches. I mean, don't forget, the New Day had a match announced and that was cancelled. I mean, the New Day said they didn't want the match, but of course we know the truth. They absolutely would have loved to have been on this card in front of that audience. They would have loved it. So we know in real life they didn't really ask for it to be cancelled. So I just think it was stacked. I think we had Hogan, we had Rock, we had Cena, we had 4 massive matches. And unfortunately, the Wyatt 6 are in a feud which is good, but I can't imagine it's a feud that's doing anything crazy ratings-wise. You know, if this was Randy Orton and a couple of NXT talents, or like Randy and a tag team, a heel tag team, maybe Randy with DIY and the Wyatt 6, and it's been a big, heavy storyline, kind of big deal, it would have made this show. But we just haven't been seeing the Wyatt 6 all that much. This is not a feud that is going to really move the needle that much, to be honest. So, yeah, I thought we would see them. I really did. I thought we would get something. Obviously, during the commercial break, we got a graphic flash up. we got a logo appear momentarily. But it was disappointing. If we don't get them next week, I am going to start running out of, not excuses, but I don't know. It's going to start getting difficult to explain what's happening, to be honest. They should, with a 3-hour show next week, should be able to find some room for them. I'll tell you the other argument as well. Word was doing the rounds that tonight's show was going to be 3.5 hours. It actually clocked in at 3. So why could they not have just bolted half an hour in there somewhere for the Wyatt 6? I can't answer that either. We've had all this talk about, we can go as long as we want. There's no hard out. The show's expected to be 3.5 hours. It was done after 3 hours. It was done. You could have had 15 minutes for the Wyatt 6. Don't know. If they're not on the show next week, I'm going to start struggling with my explanation, to be honest. Emmanuel said 6. Rhea winning without any growth in her character just feels like bad writing. Could have done without the Hogan segment. The one posted on X was almost exact word for word, but was said better. Cena saying he's going to win the Rumble. Now, if he does, that is just a terrible spoiler. In all fairness, everyone says they're going to win the Rumble. Rabbi said it could have been better if the crowd was good. Ooh. Kelly the Wise Lady, overhyped disappointment. Roman and Solo cooked. Seth and Punk was pretty good. Liv and Rhea were very underwhelming. Do I need to discuss the commercials in the US? I'm quite disappointed in this show because they overhyped it so much. The beginning gave me chills. I didn't expect Jey to win. No returns, no surprises. I'm giving it a 7. Only because Roman and Solo cooked. If that match wasn't tonight, it would have been about a 5. Wow. Look at this. I feel the same. Pretty much this. I wasn't impressed. Let's try commercial breaks between matches, not during. At least they didn't do picture-in-picture, says Sam. So actually, a lot of what Kelly is saying there, people really resonating with. Christopher said, I think it felt like an old SmackDown. Few matches and too much talking. Sad they removed matches. People were excited to hear Hogan talk and too many ads. Were people excited to hear Hogan talk? Were they? Were they? I feel like what's happened there is you've tuned into like a show from the 1980s. I feel like what you've done is you've gone onto YouTube and you've watched an old 1980s Hulk Hogan promo where everyone's cheering and Hulkamania is running wild. I think that's what's happened. The segment I saw, it didn't seem like people were excited to hear Hogan talk. Ben said it was a decent show in my opinion. I didn't like the amount of logos in the ring. Love seeing the goats. Cena, Roman Reigns solo was solid. The Rock bit did confuse me. It confused us all. Jey, Drew was a bit lackluster. Main event was good, but I think people are hating a bit too much. That Hogan bit was awkward as hell. Hachiman said, overall, it's a good show. Expectations were a little high, but the Punk versus Seth match and Roman solo really delivered. My wifey, poor Liv, losing absolutely broke my heart, but the match was still good. Hogan getting booed was also hilarious. Johnny said the show was good, but it just didn't live up to my expectations. It felt like attending a reunion party where everyone I once knew was suddenly acting differently and out of character. Oh my God, that is such a great way of wording it. That is such a great... It's like, I remember Hogan from the 80s. Oh, we're booing him now. Oh yeah, I remember The Rock from last year. He really hates Cody. Oh no, hang on. He's giving Cody a hug. Oh, look, Undertaker's here. Oh, he's gone again. All right, okay. Yeah, I sort of get what you're saying there. The stupid ads on the mat didn't help either. The mat is no longer sacred. That's true. No longer can Gunther say that. Tribal Combat felt off because of all the Rock face heel confusion. Happy to see Cena back for his final run. Glad that Liv Rhea feud is over. Hoping we get Rhea Io at WrestleMania. Drew versus Jey. I did not care about the outcome. Should have been the women's IC match instead. Yeah, I actually don't disagree with that. I think, though, they so wanted that yeet entrance. As stupid as it sounds, I really think that might have helped get them on the show. Like, that yeet entrance has become its own thing. Him coming through the crowds and the whole crowd, like, I think they wanted that on this show. So I think that's why, Dakota ain't got that. Lyra Valkyria ain't got nothing like that. She does do that little dance thing sometimes, but it's just not enough. Punk versus Seth cooked, and it saved the show from a disaster for me. 6.5. I don't think any Laps fan who checked it out on Netflix are going to stick around. That's interesting. There was no worthy storyline teasers for anyone to tune into next week. Yeah, I don't disagree, actually. They said Sheamus versus Ludwig. Damien, who wasn't really on the show, takes on Finn Balor, who wasn't on the show. What else did we get? Chad versus a mystery person who's going to turn out to be Penta. If you're a casual fan, you probably don't know who Penta is, right? So what was there for next week that's going to get people to... It's a really good point, actually. It's a really good point. You know, why not have John Cena next week? Why not have John Cena next week where we could have advertised Cena, like, make sure you tune in next week. John Cena is going to be there next week. Oh, that'll be good. Yeah, what have we got? Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. Neither of them on the show. Chad Gable versus Penta. That ain't going to do it for the casuals. And we've got, Lyra versus Dakota. Is that next week or has that been moved to Saturday night's main event? I can't remember. But either way, if we saw them, it was only fleeting. It was only a little video package or whatever. I agree with you. Why didn't we get The Rock next week? Why didn't we get John Cena next week? I think Cena would be the one I would move. The Rock opening the show tonight, I think, makes sense. And certainly with the whole tribal combat thing. And even though he didn't turn on Roman, having him put that over Roman's neck and us not knowing what's about to happen, that was pretty cool. So all of that, I think, was fine. So I think I would have just moved John Cena to next week. Good. I agree with you, Johnny. Las Vegas, Matt said, if the presentation continues like it was today, production-wise, the quality was excellent. Loved more in-ring and less backstage. Think doing interviews in the upper deck is really smart. I was shocked that Rhea won, and I was more shocked that we didn't get Becky or Penta. 9 from Las Vegas, Matt. Another 9 here. Look, Dark Necrophia says, no 6, no Final Testament, no Penta, but overall 9. Great show. Only one surprise. Really decent show. Title change. Roman goes again for the main event. Babs the Barbarian said, Daze, I thought it was great. Everything from the presentation to the matches. Funny how Hogan was booed, lol. Surprised there was no Wyatts or Carrion. I'm assuming Penta will wrestle Gable next week. 8 out of 10. Yes, that is the expectation. Jason said Roman, Rhea and Seth matches were good and enjoyable. Drew match underwhelming, but a 3-hour show with only 4 matches and mostly ads or promotional videos and vignettes, plus constant clips of who is in the crowds. Felt like one long commercial and promotion. I was underwhelmed by this Raw. Yeah, I mean, it was even stuff like, here's Fluffy. Hey, Fluffy, you've got a special coming up, haven't you? On Netflix. Well, I do, actually, yeah. Yeah. William said it was a great show. A bit too many in-show ads. Normal amount of commercial breaks. Disappointed in my home state booing Hulk. Even with past comments, on a night like this, he deserved better. Let's pray for Rhea Ripley. The last person the Undertaker gave that big of a rub to died. R.I.P. Bray. Yeah, it is true. It was a little reminiscent of that Bray moment. You know, he kind of came out and gave that moment, didn't he? Like he did to Bray. I do see the comparison. Jello Man said 7 out of 10 overall. Majority of it was amazing, but that main event felt like a finisher fest, and Seth carried the entire match. Gio the Theo said the show wasn't bad, but it was overhyped. Rock promo was strange. Tribal Chief match was good, should have main evented. Cena promo was good. Rhea should have lost. Hulk Hogan getting booed was great, but hard to watch. Punk winning was good. Overall, I think this show could have been better, and Triple H didn't deliver as much as he could have. Right, I think it's just knocked us down a little bit, but that's okay. We can get back to it. I believe that was Gio the Theo. Jesse, hello, said, I enjoyed the pyro, camera angles, commentary. I dislike the excessive celebrity focus. Great performances from all the superstars. They were incredible. Felt like they were missing more of the women's division. It was exceptional for a Monday Night Raw, though. It felt like a PLE. Jesse, thank you. Sean said, absolutely amazing. Best Raw in a very long time. Happy with every decision made on the card. Kind of wished it could have been a Stone Cold in the arena, but they were in Cali. It's never cold there. Yeah, very good. Triple H is a bald beep. It was whatever. Would have preferred to have seen Final Testament 6 segment instead of a bald-ass washed Hogan cutting a promo no one gave a beep about. Thank you. Dexpack said, I really wanted to like it, and the matches were solid, but there was just so much filler in between and often that I just couldn't ever get into it. It all felt incredibly corporate. I agree. Corporate, cold. I got those vibes at times. Nishi said, it was awesome, electrifying, and a memorable episode of Raw. Loved the main event, loved Drew versus Jey, loved Tribal Combat, and I'm happy for Mommy on winning her title. Getting the original Terror Twin and the Timu Terror Twin to congratulate her. Nishi, shout out to you. Dean said Raw was okay. It was not as good as I thought it was gonna be. Happy Mommy is champ again. Don't like the ring, Matt. I'm confused. Is The Rock heel or babyface? But I love the stream. Dean, shout out to you, my friends. I really appreciate it. There was quite a bit of... I felt like the first part of the stream was quite good, where we were just talking. And then when the show started, I mean, I just feel like there was so much, like, reaction. And by the time you're reacting to it, the next thing's coming along. And then, like, Twitter's constantly exploding and the chat's exploding. And I just sort of felt like there was just a lot going on. It was just, I suppose, in a way, everything you thought it was going to be. It was certainly a show that I don't think you would sit on the fence on. It was certainly a show that you had opinions about, right? And it was just, yeah, it was pretty it was a pretty wild ride, actually, for that 3 hours. So I'm glad that whatever we streamed live came across well. So, Dean, shout out to you. Watson said, I think for us hardcore fans, we wanted a big Rock segment. Yes. Returns. Yes. Big moments. Yes. But I don't think that's what WWE were looking for tonight. I think this was perfect for their brand and for a first show on Netflix. We should get excited for the coming weeks' shows on Netflix. The Name is Bear said overhyped show, and I feel like there's truth to both of these. I feel like you're right, that is what the hardcore fans wanted, and you're right, that is what WWE delivered. But WWE went so out their way with the whole, here's the new logo, are you ready? And all this kind of stuff, you know? And, like, rumours of The Undertaker's going to be there. John Cena's going to be there. The Rock confirms he's going to be there. Like, it was hyped. And it didn't meet a lot of people's expectations as a result. But equally, you are correct in the sense of this has really been it's been a big show. Big names, big moments, big talking points, but just I don't think it scratched the itch of some of the hardcore fans. Yeah, I feel like both of these things are correct. Let's see what Devin has to say. He said it was all right. Nothing spectacular. Too heavy with faces winning. Lots, I think all the faces won. James said it was good, but where was the Wyatt 6? Sad Reptilian said it was a great show. It was PLE quality. Space Fam said it was amazing. Solid matches. Rocky, 6 out of 10 promo. Tribal Combat, 7 out of 10 match. Rhea Liv, 8 out of 10 match. Jey Uso Drew, 6 out of 10 match. Teases for Penta and Wyatt 6, 5 out of 10. Seth versus Punk, 9 out of 10. Wow. Sad there was no Wyatt 6. I also love the new format with interviews. Overall, 7. JDS said, I feel like The Rock is giving us a swerve, and I've noticed they did a face stare down similar to last year, but let's give it time. And remember, we're still a long way to WrestleMania. However, it was an amazing show, but I'll say 5.5. An amazing show, but 5.5. How did you reach that? How did you reach that, buds? Kelly the Wise Lady said, wait, I'm talking off a point. Oh, I'm taking off a point for them showing Logan. 6. Bradley said 8.5. Amazing. Historical night. Great atmosphere and matches. Hulk Hogan being booed. No surprise. They're disappointing for no Wyatt 6 in person, but it was an awesome Raw. Briggsy said mixed feelings, to be honest. I'm going to say 5. Rock segment was weird. Drew Jey seems like it was a setup to flop, and Hogan segment speaks for itself. The rest of the show was good, but overall pretty underwhelming. No Good Shockwave said, I'm saying it wasn't as good as the hype. Triple H and his we ain't seen nothing yet. He does this a lot, getting us to think there will be loads of surprises. His mouth writes checks. His ass can't cash. Creative can't get a storyline anymore. I'm going to give it 5.6. Wrestling XFR said it was a good show. I think a heel turn for Rollins at the end would have made it better. Gunther making an appearance too. Would have loved to have seen The Rock turn on Roman, but apart from that, it was a good show. Chris said it's history. Ian said, I love the launch of the new era. There was some great matches. I was a little disappointed to not have Wyatt 6. However, I thought it may happen that way, as we were likely to have a return or a debut, which we didn't. Lots of confusion, but no confusion on the opinion of Hogan. Arrows 1 said, overall a great show. I really enjoyed all the matches. Kind of sad no Wyatt 6, but overall I enjoyed the show. I kind of saw Rhea winning, but I wasn't expecting KO to appear during Tribal Combat match. Taker appearing, I didn't see him come in. 9.5. Bean said it was a pretty solid show. I'm going to give it an 8. Kind of bummed there was no Wyatts. Lots of that, isn't there? Where were the Wyatts? No Wyatts. That seems to have upset quite a few in our community. All matches were good, and I can't wait for next Monday. Wrestling Vid said enjoyed every second. Just a Guy said no Wyatts, and the little bit we saw across a Miz wasn't even available to people in the US. Well done, Triple H. Gary said it sucked. I said earlier my biggest fear was Netflix lag, buffering, etc. But WWE side of things would be fine. Turns out it was the other way round. Worst Raw for a while, and Rock hugging Cody. WTF. Yes. I hear you. I'm disappointed. 6.5. I was hoping for more returns. Becky to set up her versus Liv or Rhea or Penta debut. Hogan's segment was just embarrassing. Cena announcing being in the Rumble. We kind of already knew he was going to be in it. Undertaker was just there. I'm not satisfied, said Kieran. I hear you. Sam is the president of Broncos, said LA needs to respect Hogan. Roman Solo should have main evented. Cena was great. Seeing Undertaker was cool. Trav lighting one with Jey was fire. No Charlotte or Becky shocked me. Ryan said, I would give it an 8.5. The matches were all solid. Punk versus Rollins is definitely one of the best matches in a long time. Really? I'm so shocked by this. It's just not what the community was saying. And I feel like it's one of those matches I need to go back and rewatch, because the ending is very good, but I just could not get into it. And it felt like the crowds were struggling as well, because they were very quiet at the start. And it just sort of felt like it was playing out in front of me, and I just was not on boards with it. I just was not there. They just never got me. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I feel like I might have to revisit that, you know. Because you're not the first person to say that. You're not the first person. Definitely one of the best Raw matches in a long time. The match wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I can get used to it. Ryan, Don't get used to it. Do what we're going to do, and that's complain until someone listens and changes it. Or actually, what will actually happen is we just complain. No one will listen, and we'll just die bitter boomers, which is going to happen anyway. Jazza said, absolutely perfect debut. Kian said, I thought Raw was all right show. The opening match between Roman Solo was a great match. When Roman won, I thought The Rock was going to turn. Rhea beating Liv and Jey beating Drew was good. The boos for Hogan were bad. Taker was good. Main event was okay. Next up, NXT. Overall, 7.5. I'm a bit worried about my voice for NXT. I mean, we did a 6-hour stream. I then did an hour unseen, and now I'm doing an hour-long review. I'm a bit worried I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll be like, hi guys, welcome to NXT. It's going to be good. So that's going to be interesting. But you're right, next up, NXT. Kill AI said 10 out of 10. Better than half the PLEs in 2024. Bar is set for Raw flicks. Now let's go. Breeden said, it was really good. I got most, if not all, the matches right. MK said, all in all, a decent show. Felt a little too safe, maybe, to welcome more casual fans to Raw on Netflix. Looking forward to what's coming in the next few weeks when the bumps in the road are flattened out. 7.9. Raymond said, Daze, I really honestly, tonight's first night on Netflix was the best Monday Night Raw of the Netflix era. Like, everything about it was just outstanding. Every match gave me goosebumps. And I would have to rate Monday Night Raw 10 out of 10. Daze, that's how amazing it was. Shout out to you. Raymond, shout out to you, buds. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Avik said it was good, 8 out of 10. Bloodline match was great. I expected a little more drama between The Rock and the OTC segment. The matches were good, but nothing really super exciting. The hype around the show was really high, and I felt it did not really live up to that. Ads said it felt like a pay-per-view. Hope they keep this level up. Nita Nitro said it was a show for the casuals, the newcomers, the Netflix customer. It did its job in introducing the product. From Rhea versus Liv onwards, it was solid. The Punk Rollins match made me feel something. Exegol said, solid show. Very strange moments with the whole Rock thing and Cody. I also feel like the show is a bit overhyped as well. 6.5. Kyle said, I loved it. I hope it says this good. Hope it stays this good. Got you, Kyle. Big Bam said, cinema, electricity, stellar matches, celebrities and more. I feel like it lived up to expectation, even the part where Hogan got booed. The Netflix era has started strong, and I look forwards to what's next. Robbie said, I enjoyed it. The Rock segment was a bit weird. Doesn't look like he's going to work Mania. Roman Solo banged. Great to see him reclaim the Ula Fala. Rhea winning the title was good. And the moment with Undertaker after was a badass. Punk versus Seth proved why it was the main event. Banger. Larry said first hour and some change was horrible. New era starring Rock, Reigns and Cena is not a new era. Just more mid-level garbage. Entire tribal match was a waste. Two women's title 7.5 like a PLE payoff. McIntyre is too good for Uso 6.5. Punk Rollins great, but somebody was hurt 9. So that's what Larry said. Sean said something was off, but a couple of thoughts. The matches on paper were great, but the overall quality wasn't great, and the advertising was way too much. We know the show is on Netflix. Can we stop mentioning that? Yes. Yes. Lastly, no surprises. For this show, hype was greater than execution. Honestly, if we were to take a shot every time Netflix was mentioned, Phoenix, we'd be dead. Phoenix Maximus said it was great. There was no issues with Netflix. Matches were great. Production was great. Not sure how they keep this up for 52 weeks a year, but it's in Triple H's hands, and he's always delivered. JT and S said the commercials were a bit too much, whether in show or outside commercials. Love the new champ Ripley and Reigns and Jey Uso match was good. The droids were good but weird, and the Rock segment was like WTF. Who is that? Must be corporate Dwayne, not the Rock we know and love to hate. And the Undertaker segment, lol. Pointless, but was a surprise. I think Seth match was disappointing and predictable. Overall, Raw was good, but not as big as it was amped up to be. I love Stephanie. Glad to see her again. Josh said, great show all around. Just wish we would have got some kind of Wyatt 6 thing in the show. They need to do more with them on TV. Austin, first thing I've noticed about Austin, can't follow a simple request. 1 comment per person, please. Everyone else has managed it, but here's Austin 316. Here's Mr. I'm in the Wrestling Daze community, Hall of Fame. I'll do whatever I want. I'll break the rules. No one else so far. How long are we into this? 49 minutes. Into the no one else, but here he is, one of 2. Has anyone else done that? Has anyone in these 160 odd comments Has anyone done 2 comments? No. Do you know why? Because they can read. Yeah? Simple requests. I'm not reading that second comment. Austin said, first hour was amazing. Second hour was great. Third hour was pretty boring. Good things. Roman versus Solo was easily the best thing. Fantastic intro for the show. Loved the graphics. Undertaker was nice and unexpected. And finally, Liv's reign is over. I'm really tempted to look because I'm wondering if it's going to be a ha-ha, I just wanted to put this here to upset you or something like that. I'm intrigued. No! He's gone 3 messages! What? He's gone 3? I thought it might be like, ha, I know you only said 1 No, he's actually done it. In fact, he's gone longer. Oh my God, I hate this guy. I hate this guy. Why? I can heart it, but why can't I dislike it? Oh, how? Blocked. Real Wrestling Fan says amazing, 8 out of 10. Tony said it wasn't bad, but it was struck amazing. They played it up to be for so long. In America, even if we pay $25 bucks a month for no commercials, having to still watch them, then only having a Wyatt symbol flash and have to search for it was bogus. 6.75. Yeah, to pay like 25 bucks a month and still get commercials and miss out on the... Yeah, I get your point. Well done for fitting that into one message. Some people seem to struggle. HQ Last Kicker said, I loved The Rock, though he confused me. He confused all of us. Perhaps he's like flipping a psychopath or something. Do you think sometimes it's like, hey, how you doing? Like literally an hour later is like, I'm coming for you. Like, you just don't know what he's going to do. Oh my God, imagine that. He's like a serial killer or something. HQ Last Kicker said, love The Rock, though he confused me. Seth Punk was pretty good. Roman Solo really was my favourite match. I'm glad that Rhea won. Loved her low blow to Dirty Dom more. The opening video, Triple H and Cena, fantastic. Matches seemed longer, but that's okay with me. That didn't bug me. 775, said HQ. Eric said, we officially hit Seth's snapping point. Chris said, hello, Daze. Hello, Chris. I don't know if I got too excited for this show. Maybe that's on me. 7 or so. I mean, Hogan getting booed out the building was so uncomfortable. I would have switched the main event. It was good, but Roman Solo was better. And every face won. I've never seen that before. Have you? Yeah, I'm sure I have. I can't recall the exact show, but I'm pretty sure the shows where all the faces have won. Samantha says, 9 out of 10. I enjoyed all of it except Hulk Hogan. Lol. 7 days a week said, hello, Daze. Great stream. Thank you, 7 days a week. I have been a WWE fan since 2014. Good job. But this was my first time seeing a full show live. I usually just watch YouTube videos, so this show kind of hit more for me. So overall, I'm going to give it an 8. The beginning was very good, with a great match, followed by a great segment with The Rock. The women's match was also good. Seth and Punk should have had a stipulation. I hate Drew losing. I'm not feeling Cena winning the Rumble. Would prefer him winning the Chamber. Well, we could do that still. And a new superstar winning the Rumble. Hogan's segment was so bad, and it ended being so good. I almost choked myself from laughing. But it was a great first episode on Netflix. Next week will be stacked. Oh, I really like that. 7 days a week. Welcome. I'm very pleased I got to your comment. Sam said, pretty predictable. The longer matches were nice, but they took time away from other stars. Let's try commercials between matches, not during. Abs2424 said, extremely disappointing. For all that hype to then deliver that. Way too much wasted time. No Wyatt 6 or Carrion, but they had to show supposed celebrities in the crowd for 10 minutes. Horrible effort. Clay said, I love the show. I want a picture of Bailey. I also want a picture of Bailey. Junkwax Obsessed said, I'll give it a good old-fashioned. J-Snap said 5 out of 10. Pointless wrestlers sat in the crowd. The Rock weirdly ending that rivalry with Cody. Solo Roman match was average. Women's match was okay. Thought it was meant to be a last woman standing match. Disappointed we didn't get Penta, Becky, or Charlotte's. Yeah, so that last woman standing thing is very interesting because they never said it wasn't. They said it was, and it was on a graphic. And then it just stopped being that. Like, there was no announcement that it had changed or anything. There was a new graphic that came out and it just wasn't mentioned on there, which is just very strange. Very weird. Tall Guy 87 said, I had fun, but the shows going forward can only be better. John said, I've turned off. Night. Night, John. Night, John. The Trash Man said, we are spoiled as wrestling fans. This was a great show. Every face won. We got the right appearances, brackets besides Hogan, and nothing too crazy happened. No one should be disappointed. Khan FUC Juice said, overhyped. Production-wise, it was great, but story-wise, Rocky came out as a businessman. He didn't give a beep about the storyline that he started a year ago. Turned face without any reason or sense. Haven't pushed the story further. Nothing unexpected happened in any match. Mid. Chelsea said, overall, I thought it was really good. It definitely felt like a special show, and I know it won't feel that way every week, but this was a great way to kick off the Netflix era for sure. Missy said, The Rock acknowledged Roman. Hogan came just to advertise. Rhea winning. KO. WTF. The first 3 matches had my attention, but the Drew Jey fight slowed it a bit, and I got way less than what I wanted between Punk and Seth. I give it a 7. Good premiere, but needs a bit of work down the road, said Missy. Sean said, I get it's the first show on Netflix, but more wrestling, less promos, taking 15 minutes at a time. John Elite said, it was an amazing debut on Netflix tonight. Congrats to Rhea. I thought Rock was going to attack Roman after the match. Is this post-show every week after Raw or just tonight? I don't know. I don't think they've announced one for next week yet. Hogan getting booed was crazy. Looking forward to Penta's potential debut next week. Woodrow Call said, seemed stuck in a weird purgatory between a PLE and a Raw. I agree. Never really hit for me. I'm interested to see what a normal 3-hour Netflix Raw will look like. The treatment of the Wyatts has me pretty jaded on the product overall, to be honest. 6.5, carried by Roman, Seth, and Punk. Sean said, sorry, the first hour had 1 match. Sean, you don't have to apologize for that. I don't think, unless this is Triple H's burner account, you didn't book it. But Duquette said definitely a 9. Taker, Cena, Roman, Rock, Cody, even seen the Hulkster, solid 9. Michael said should have stayed on USA Network. 3 hours, 4 matches, way too many ads. Why go to a streaming platform if you're just going to do same olds? We're going to end on Little Ducky because we're running out of time and I need to look at the poll result, right? Little Ducky said it was okay, but was confusing. Like, why was The Rock face all of a sudden? What happened to Ray and versus New Day? They said they turned the match down. No returns. And why was Rhea and Liv changed? Because I was told, and a lot of others were told, that it was going to be last woman standing. Yeah, they just changed it. I have no idea why it just kind of quietly got dropped. And I don't know why. I have no idea why. Right, here we go. So, only 200 votes, but the show did end quite late. So, I mean, look, you can see SmackDown got 700 votes. So this one only getting 200 is a bit down, but obviously, you know, it ended late. Right now, America are fast asleep. So, at the moment, look, great 52%. Seems like great was pretty overwhelming there. I mean, good was only 17%. All-time 28, though. I feel like this is a pretty solid effort, actually. I think, only 3% said it was bad. So, yeah, I think it was a pretty solid effort. So, there we go. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate all the support. We will be back later with NXT New Year's Evil. And, of course, I'll be wanting your review and opinions, your thoughts, your comments after that show as well. So, thanks for watching. Bye for now.